So I've recently purchased the FZ1000, which films in 4K. I know, it's been a dream of mine. Which means this is going to be my last 1080p video. 1080p and I have had a long run filming this on my old T2i right now. You've been so great to me. It's just, your sensor sucks, and you're old, and your older brothers suck too. I'm sorry. You know what? Canon is great, but I just gotta say I love this FZ1000. So what scares people away the most? This is considered to be the younger brother of its GH4. The reason this is different is it's only got one lens attached to it. Can't be taken off. Now this instantly scares a lot of people away because they want the ability to take off lenses and try new things. This was scaring me away too, so I was prepared to send this back if I didn't like the lens it had. The reason I was really curious is because it's a really great lens, which can't really be matched anywhere else. This is a 25 to 400 millimeter lens. This gets incredibly wide and incredibly zoomed in. I haven't had a lens with this kind of range. Its aperture is 2.8 to 4.0, and when you zoom in, it's 9.1 to even 146, so it's got a pretty decent aperture. For people who want the lower apertures, like on the Canon 50mm, that's 1.8, or even lower, they want 1.4, 1.2. Keep in mind that when you film a video in 4K, less ISO grain is noticed because you're compressing tons of pixels and getting more quality. And since this does film in 4K, it handles low light extremely well. So I know I could talk about this a lot, but my first 4K video will be testing this thing, which I'll have a link to about right here. Yeah, annotations, they're cool, huh? Click on it. But anyway, big differences between the old Canon T2i and this thing is mostly the lens. So old Canon cameras lenses work on actual gears, and you know, you can actually spin them and without the camera being on and they'll still work. This one is entirely electronic, so when I turn it on, it's doing a lot of the work for me. There's only one ring, one for zoom, one for focus. And if you think you're gonna be zooming and focusing at the same time, it's okay, because if you leave the switch on focus, this wide and tighten thing around the picture button still works for zooming. And it's entirely electronic, so I can just hold it down and pretty cool. Another thing I was iffy about with this camera was the inside stabilizer. So if you didn't know, this thing has a pretty decent stabilizer on it, but you can't really turn it off. And it makes this ever so slight gear noise. If you don't have an external mic, this can actually be a problem for you. I have the Rode VideoMic Pro, and I'm using it right now. But on this thing, its onboard mic will pick up that grind. So if you're planning on doing a lot of video with people talking and you're not an external audio recorder guy, you're gonna wanna pick up some kind of good shotgun mic for this camera. So when I put my Rode on this camera, it sounds fine. In fact, it sounds better than when it's on my T2i. This, I think, compresses it a bit more, and it gets rid of that white noise that we all hate. You'll see in my upcoming videos. So its viewfinder swivels around pretty nice. It's not a touchscreen, but I wasn't really into that because I had a friend who had the T5i, which had a touchscreen, and The cool thing I like is the viewfinder, which is a full frame, and you also can entirely change all the controls from within the viewfinder. Pretty nice. It has a feature similar to some of the higher-end Blackmagic cameras, which is it puts little dots and pixels over things that are in focus. Makes it a lot easier when you're recording at 4K. When you're in 4K, the things that are in focus look incredible. Even if you don't have a 4K monitor, the difference is obvious. I wish I could prove it to you, but it's kind of hard to do that since you're watching this on whatever resolution you're watching this as. But you can definitely check out my video test of this thing. Another thing that may scare people away from this is it's completely automatic in terms of video mode. This means I can't change the aperture, the ISO, or the shutter speed. So you put a lot of trust into the machine itself to make things look good. But I gotta say, I really trust it. Honestly, it saves a lot of time because when you're on set and you're in a hurry, you don't want to be switching all the stuff on there to make it look nice. The look it gives me, I love, which is why I recommend testing it out when you first get it. And if you don't like the way you handle it, you can send it back and get your money. So my overall consensus, it's great. Love this thing. It fixed audio problems I didn't even know I had. It's filming at quadruple the resolution that I've been filming at. Got a swivel screen, which may not be new to you, but I'm on a T2i, which doesn't have that, and it's freaking annoying. And don't worry about the lens not being interchangeable because it's an amazing lens. I can still hold it like this and see my face, and I can get close-ups of football players' heads when I'm on the field. I do that for some people. They want videos, so. Remember Luke Sebastian with the LG G3 video? He wanted a football. Never mind. It's a great lens. Handles low light amazing, looks amazing. Oh yeah, and it films 120 frames a second with 1080p, which is awesome feature. I do recommend this camera. Okay.